Welcome back my weebs and otakus, it's Otakunofuji with another game video. Today we're talking about Sacred 2 Remastered, a cult classic action RPG looking for new life on modern consoles and PC. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The remaster is pretty disappointing. It's a bare minimum port with missing features and few tangible improvements. What a bummer. As always, if you like this or any of our other videos, please like and subscribe to the channel. It actually really does help if you do. Also, in the interest of full disclosure, I was given a review code for the game by the publisher. So, Sacred 2. It originally released on PC in 2008 and on consoles in 2009. I played it on Xbox 360 and had a really good time with it, even though this style of RPG wasn't really, and still isn't honestly, my thing. I gave it a 4 out of 5 when I reviewed it for About.com back in the day. The original console port had a redesigned controller-friendly interface and worked really well. The game was never especially good looking even back then though, with rather simple character and enemy designs and bland environments obscured by fog about 10 feet away from the player. What I loved about it was that the gameplay loop was incredibly addictive. It's one of those loot games where every enemy in every chest and every quest could potentially reward you with some new crazy powerful piece of gear. It's all about numbers getting bigger and bigger, and enemy mobs dying faster and faster, and is very satisfying and addictive. I have to say that the quests aren't especially interesting, and the world isn't great to explore, and the combat itself is definitely not anything special. You're just hammering attack buttons over and over and over and over and over. But you keep playing for hours and hours because the loot is just too darn good. The game is absolutely massive too, with a gigantic map and hundreds of quests, where practically every NPC in the world is part of a quest. It's huge, it's awesome, it's tons of fun. It's honestly kinda too big maybe, because you can spend a dozen hours in the opening area and then still have 90% of the game left to go. It's crazy. That was all true back in 2009 though. So what does the new 2025 remaster of Sacred 2 do that makes it worth picking up over the original? Well, not much unfortunately. The graphics are higher resolution, but it doesn't really look that much better. Characters and enemies still look pretty ugly and simple. The wall of fog is pushed back a few more yards, but it's still definitely there, and the environments are still simple and bland. And actually, you just see the environment popping in front of you now instead of being obscured by fog, which isn't an improvement. If you're expecting much of a visual upgrade, you're going to be disappointed. The other promised improvements are similarly half-baked. The new user interface is my biggest problem with the remaster. Frankly, it's pretty darn horrible to play on consoles. Accessibility is the main problem here, as everything is tiny icons with tiny text, and the cursor to see what the heck you're even selecting is just the absolute wrong color, and very hard to see. And there are no options to adjust any of this. Because of this, keeping track of quests is a huge pain because the menus and overall interface is such a mess. The old Xbox 360 version is much easier to play because they designed the interface specifically for console players. Here's another not so fun fact about Sacred 2 Remastered. The console versions don't have any multiplayer at all. The PC version does have multiplayer and costs $20, but the console versions, with no multiplayer at all, cost $10 more at $30. You're paying a $10 console tax to get less features. Now, the game is okay playing solo, but it's significantly better playing in co-op. This is such a huge misstep with this remaster. Sacred 2 has always been fairly notorious for being buggy and glitchy, and the remaster is exactly the same! Maybe even worse actually. It crashes very frequently. The performance in small towns is pretty bad, and the frame rate takes a significant hit in even medium-sized cities. The sound glitches and stops working if you dare to look at the option menu in-game. Quests frequently bug out and don't work properly too. In my playthrough, I had to reload my save a half dozen times to finish the famous Blind Guardian quest, because one of the band members repeatedly spawned in an impossible to reach area. Achievements also randomly stopped working, even though they worked at the start. It's just kind of a mess, which Sacred 2 has always been, but I was hoping for at least some improvement in this area. I genuinely can't see a reason to buy Sacred 2 Remastered over the original release of the game. The Xbox 360 release is backward compatible on Xbox One and Series consoles, and that's the one that I would recommend if you want to get into Sacred 2. It has a better UI and multiplayer, and the visuals aren't that much worse than this remaster. And at $20 or less, it's also cheaper than buying the remaster. Now, I can't find any definitive word if the original is going to be delisted on Xbox. It's definitely being delisted on Steam though. But even if it does get delisted on Xbox, you can still buy a physical copy for cheap, which is genuinely what I would recommend over buying the remaster. This isn't all just rose-tinted nostalgia about the original release either. I've been playing the 360 release alongside the remaster over the last week or so just to see the differences, and I'm struggling to find anything that makes the remaster worth playing over the original. I'm usually super forgiving when it comes to remasters too, and would almost always rather play them than the original of most games. But Sacred 2 Remaster just seems especially unnecessary. The appeal of a lot of remasters is purely the convenience of having it available on modern systems, but Sacred 2 is already inexpensive and easily accessible thanks to backward compatibility on Xbox. Is Sacred 2 Remastered bad or unplayable? No, it's just fine. The core loot-based gameplay loop is as fun and addictive as ever in the remaster, but paying $30 for just fine when you can get the same or better experience with the original release makes it a tough pill to swallow. Maybe PlayStation owners will find more value in this release, but Xbox fans are probably better off sticking with the original via backwards compatibility. If they fix a few things in the remaster, mostly with the UI and adding co-op back in, it might be worth a look, but at launch I am just not loving it. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like and subscribe and check out Otakunofuji.com.